Well, there are media reports making rounds in Kenya that the Confederations of African Football has given Kenya until the 31st of December to deliver the two facilities that are needed for the 2025 CHAN finals that Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will be hosting from the 1st of February to the 28th of February 2025. Those two facilities are Nyayo and Kasarani Stadiums, which at the moment are under renovation, and you could say that those are responsible in a race against time to make sure that they do beat that CAF deadline. This is after CAF inspectors visited the region. They were in Uganda, they were in Kenya, they were also in Tanzania, but also this is ahead of the visit of CAF President Patrice Motsepe this December in the three countries to check on the progress ahead of the CHAN finals. Now we are back at Kasarani on our final day in Kenya here. We are just going to take a stroll around the stadium to see how much work exactly is going on, and probably that will determine how much work they need to see that they do beat the deadline. So where we are, you could say that we are at the main entrance of the stadium into the VVIP, or the executive wing, which is just right about here. So it is from this point that we shall take a walk around the stadium. Then if an opportunity allows, we shall get back inside the stadium to see how much work is going on. Of course, it is the Kenya Defense Forces together with their partners from China who are in charge of renovating this facility or giving it the facelift. So by the look of things, outside where you are, you could pretty much say this is a construction site. There is a lot of debris littered all over the place, but you feel that probably that is because of the result of construction going on right about now, and when the time is right, they will probably get all this out of the way. Of course, this is one of the areas that get you into the stadium. Actually, one of the last entry points into the stadium once you get into the facility. This walkway has pavements all over it, or all around it, and of course it's what we'll be using as we have a stroll around this facility. Then after that we will get into the facility to see exactly how much work is going on. The last time we were here, they were trying to install the pillars for the canopy or the roof, because the entire stadium is going to be roofed, not only the VIP or the executive wing, but the entire stadium, meaning that it doesn't matter where you will be seated. If it's raining, it won't rain on you. It doesn't matter where you will be seated. If the sun is up there, the sun will not be affecting you. And the last time we were here, of course, just a part of the stadium had those pillars installed. But now we'll check out later, after having this walk, how much of those pillars have been installed. You can have a glimpse of what is rather happening inside there. But of course, that will be for later, after we've managed to take this stroll around the stadium. This is potentially another entrance or exit point out of the stadium, probably when a game is done or an activity is done. The kiosks here are probably the kiosks that will be used for the vending of the tickets, or usually in the past have been used for the vending of the tickets. We can't really tell, but they look like it, and there are several of them, by the way, around here. Of course, this is another gate that stops ticket holders from this section to cross to the other section, or ticket holders from this section to cross into this section. Of course, most of the workers are winding up, calling it a day. It's always a long day because, like we did say, they are in a race against time to make sure that they actually do deliver this facility at the required time by the Confederation of African Football. Of course, the CHAN tournament is a tournament played by those players who play in their domestic leagues. So if you're playing in the KPL, you qualify to represent the Harambee Stars in CHAN. But if you're Kenyan playing in Tanzania, playing in Uganda, or any other part of the African continent, you don't qualify to represent the Harambee Stars in the CHAN finals. 19 teams, we've been told, will be taking part in this one. And because Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania automatically qualified for the tournament, the CECAFA region, we have one more slot available. So the CECAFA region will be represented by 4 teams at this edition, while all the other regions across the African continent will be represented by 3 nations. The farthest an African and East African country has gone in this tournament, it's hard to tell, but I don't think we've managed to go beyond the group stages since this tournament started in 2009. And then only one country represented the region, that was Tanzania. And on the final day of the qualifying, they must have defeated Uganda 2-1 on aggregate, home and away, for them to qualify for the finals. That was after Uganda defeated Kenya to qualify for those finals. But ever since then, we've not had very good representation in these in this championship. Of course, the East African region, or the CECAFA region, Uganda has represented the most since they missed out on the first edition. That was in 2009, the one that Ivory Coast hosted, the one that DR Congo won. They have never missed out on the CHAN finals. Ever since then, Uganda has been representing, but unfortunately, they have not been able to get out of the group stages. So the CHAN coming to East Africa presents Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and the other 4th country that will be qualifying a great opportunity to qualify for the knockout stages of this championship. But of course, like I did say, there is a lot of debris littered around the facility, this construction facility that is at the Moi International Sports Center, or Moi International Stadium, constructed in 1983, ahead of the 1983 All Africa Games that Kenya hosted. But it is also very important that Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania host this championship, because we don't have a very good record as a region, particularly as Kenya. We don't have a very good record when it comes to hosting tournaments that are organized by CAF. We all remember 1996, Kenya was supposed to host the Africa Cup of Nations, but the political turmoil at the time in the country forced CAF to take those hosting rights away from Kenya, and gave the tournament to South Africa, who eventually won it on home soil. That was in 1996. Fast track to 2018, Kenya was supposed to host the CHAN finals. Again, at the last minute, CAF cited that Kenya wasn't ready in terms of infrastructure and all that. That tournament was taken away from Kenya, and I think it is Morocco that hosted the tournament. So as a country, the record is not very good, but also now it spreads to the region, that as a region, the record is not very good when it comes to hosting CAF organized tournaments. That is why it is very, very, very important that we all 3 countries do actually what it takes to make sure that the CHAN finals happens next year in February, from the 1st of February to the 28th of February. But also, in the event that we fail, it would in a way affect us ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations that Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania are hosting, or won the bid to host. Because the challenges that are affecting us now as the CHAN years are likely to be the same challenges that might affect us come 2027, because it might be just a few years away, but we still have deadlines to beat ahead of that tournament, and we wouldn't want to put ourselves in that equation, because we were able to win the bid of the Africa Cup of Nations against countries that actually already have the facilities. All they needed to do is a plug and play. Well, most of our facilities, we are either renovating or we are constructing the others from scratch. But also to get that monkey off our backs, it is very, very, very important that the CHAN finals do happen in the region ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations. Because if we can host a successful Africa Cup of Nations, that will build our confidence as a region going into, rather, if we can host a successful CHAN finals, that will build our confidence as a region going into the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Outside the debris in this place, well, there is also a lot of trees growing yet to be trimmed and all that. So away from constructing or making sure that the stadium does meet the required standards, they'll also need to do a lot of cleaning. Yes, a lot of cleaning has to be done in this place. Not only here, the same goes for Nyayo International Stadium. Actually, Nyayo is in a more sorry state than Kasarani. I was there about 5-6 days ago, and yes, there was also still a lot of work that is being done, especially on the outside. And from my own observation or opinion, Nyayo was in a more sorry state than Kasarani Stadium. So a lot of work has to be done to make sure that actually those facilities meet the required standards within the time that they are supposed to meet the required standards. Of course, Uganda, for the CHAN, only one stadium has been availed. That is the Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. They will be required to present 3 training pitches. I think it's the same for Kenya, 3 or 4 training pitches, the same for Tanzania. Of course, for Tanzania, they have the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. They have another stadium that is located in Zanzibar. So for them, those are the facilities that they will be using for the CHAN. Of course, for the Africa Cup of Nations, on top of the 2 that Kenya has for the CHAN, they also have the Talanta Sports Complex at the Jamhuri Sports Grounds that right now is beginning to take shape. Uganda is talking about the Hoima City Stadium in the western part of the country that also construction is already underway. Tanzania are also renovating what they have to make sure that they actually do have those facilities ready. So we are back from where we did begin our journey from. So we're going to try to get into the stadium to see how much work KDF and the Chinese are doing on the facility from the last time we were there. Of course, we're going to compare notes, see if there is any progress from what we saw then. And I will be taking our stairs from entrance 2 or gate number 2. Of course, just the other day, like we're telling you, this facility hosted an international tournament, the World Athletics Under-20 Championships, were at this very stadium in Kasarani. I think they have also hosted African Athletics Championships in the past before. And Ferdinand Omanyala, the fastest man on the African continent currently, did show what he's made of in front of the president then, Uhuru Kenyatta, who was since handed over the country to William Ruto. And of course, this bid was won under the leadership of William Ruto as the president of Kenya, alongside Uganda and Tanzania. So we are getting in from the VIP area or the VIP section. We'll probably have a closer look. Well, the last time we were here, it looked like we thought that there wasn't much work that was being done on the grass. But as we see at the moment, They are taking care of the grass. Like we told you, they had initially planted grass here, but then when CAF officials came, they told them that the type of grass they had planted on the facility was not the type of grass that they were supposed to have on this facility. So they were required to uproot the grass and plant the required grass, which they did. And yes, the process to take care of the grass to make sure that it actually is in the right shape or right state when the tournament comes around has already started. This is one of the section of the VIP. That should be the VVIP section where the dignitaries, CAF president, FIFA president, heads of state, ambassadors usually sit when you have such tournaments going on. Of course, at the moment it's locked. We are told the glasses are also supposed to be bulletproof so that they are protected from any danger from the fans or even those who would want to harm them. So we're going to take a floor higher to probably get a better view, especially on the pillars that are being installed for the canopy. Hopefully we can have a good view like we did last time. Of course, this stadium has 3 deckers. You have the lower decker, you have the middle decker, and then the upper decker. And it's at the upper decker. Miaje? It's at the upper decker that you actually get the best view of this stadium. And this looks like one of the executive boxes, because I remember saying that the middle decker is actually a decker that they are reserving for most of the executive boxes. People who want to buy executive boxes, people who pay those platinum tickets, they come with their families, with their friends, and they enjoy the game of football like real VVIPs. So we'll be waiting to see how exactly that will pan out as we try to check out the upper floor. Of course, the upper floor will give us a clear picture of how the stadium looks, but also how the installation of the pillars for the roof are going on. Well, the last time we were here, only one part was done, but of course, as we can see, they are still continuing with the process of installing the pillars. It is supposed to go all around the stadium. This other side, they are yet to have them fully installed. But you believe that probably no time they will be able to have them fully installed up to here. Then after installing the pillars, then the roofing will officially start. So that is the state of Kasarani Stadium. And of course, like we told you, Kenya has until the 31st of December to deliver this facility to CAF. According to their cabinet secretary for sports, they had given themselves a deadline of 31st January, which you would say is pretty much late because the tournament is starting on the 1st of February. But also, information I'm getting is that CAF wants to take over the facilities at least 2 months to the tournament, or at least a month to the tournament, so that they can do the branding and everything that they requires the tournament organizers. So 31st January won't really work for them, and probably 31st December is kind of ideal. So the people in charge of this facility, the people in charge of Nyayo Stadium, actually, if that is the deadline, they are not getting a Christmas break. They are not getting a Christmas break. They will need to stay here, work day and night to make sure that they actually get done with what they are doing at the moment. So that is the state of the facility. and probably it gives you a clear picture of what you should be expecting. But much as you would want to think that it's behind schedule, but it is a very, very, very good work that is being done here by the people of Kenya, KDF, and the Chinese who are working day and night, tooth and nail, to make sure that they do actually deliver this facility at the required time. That is another section, probably the booth for the commentators at when the tournament does come around, or when they do have sports activities happening in this area. Well, that has been our second tour around the Kasarani Stadium as Kenya continues to prepare their facilities. That is the Kasarani Stadium and the Nyayo Stadium ahead of the 2025 CHAN finals that they will be hosting alongside Uganda and Tanzania. We hope to do the same when we get back to Uganda, but also if time and finances allow, we hope to do the same and go to Tanzania and check out their preparations for the CHAN finals. But also as we prepare for the big one, which is the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations that the East African region will be hosting. That will be someday in 2027. Clive Chaze is my name. Hope you've enjoyed our stories. I hope you've enjoyed our tours. I also implore you to go out there and subscribe on our channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a question, leave an opinion. Let us grow our audience, and yes, let us also put ourselves in a position where we are the first to receive this information once it is uploaded. It is not the last. Of course, we have a lot lined up for you as the year ends, but also as we get into the new year, because there is a lot of African football that is going to be played throughout 2025 to 2026, going into 2027. So CK Sports is the channel that you need to keep yourself glued on, because I will be keeping you updated with all that you need to know about African football.